Hi, and welcome to Digital Tech Reviews and Tips. Today in this video, I'm going to be unboxing and taking a look at the Nikon P950, as well as giving you my first impressions of it and how it compares to other similar cameras from other manufacturers. Now, for those who don't know much about this camera, the Nikon P950 retails for about $800, and that's notable because that's about $200 more than its predecessor, the P900. Now, for that $200 price increase, you're getting 4K video quality, an EVF RAW photos, and a new hot shoe on top, which, are all pretty great, but the question is, can Nikon really justify that huge price increase to owners of the P900 or potential camera buyers out there looking at this camera? But enough of the talk, let's actually get to the camera itself and the box. First off, it's pretty simple, the standard Nikon all-black look. Not much to differentiate it from other boxes, of course, except for here on the side you get a picture of the camera, here on the top you get the name of the camera, and then on this side you get kind of those specs that I rattled off earlier, the 4K RAW capability, EVF, and of course that incredible 2000mm equivalent lens, which is about 83x. Now, there's not much to look at, so let's actually get right to opening up the box itself and seeing what's included from Nikon. First off, here on the top, it looks like we have this little piece of paper that comes with pretty much every camera telling you to register it online. Nikon makes it very easily. It looks like here, go online, here's your serial number, that's the model. I don't know what they offer for a warranty, but it's a good idea to really do it with anything you buy, just in case. Next up, we have here the Nikon Snap Bridge guide. Now, I've never really seen companies include a little guide for, an app and stuff like that, but hopefully it's not too complicated that you actually need this. Maybe they're just doing it out of precaution for people who've, never really used apps before. And then finally here you get the actual manual for the camera itself. Now this is nice to see that it's pretty thorough. A lot of companies go online and just put it there, and that's definitely an option, but something about having the actual paper manual, be able to bring it with you in a backpack when you go out shoot stuff. If you don't have data or something, boom, you got the manual actually, and don't have to rely upon your phone or whatever to access it online. Going a little deeper in the box here, it looks like, well, pretty much everything is right there. You have your camera, little box with accessories here, you have a neck strap, and I think underneath that possibly, yep, there it is your power adapter for charging the camera. Now let's start with the neck strap here since I already have it out. Neck strap, really not much to see, but it is worth noting that this is kind of slightly bigger than what they'd usually include with a point and shoot camera, more like a DSLR, and that kind of makes sense because this camera is basically DSLR weight type, so you don't really want a string just hanging it off your neck and preventing it from hitting the ground. Nicer to have this and, a little more secure potentially, so thanks for that, Nikon. Next up, let's grab out this little box of accessories, see what's included in here. First up is the charging cable. Now, oh boy, right off the bat, I'm noticing that this is actually micro USB. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera there, but this is really a shame that they didn't include and update this camera to USB-C. That's the future. That's what eventually, hopefully, all cameras or, devices will be until there's some new standard that's faster for charging and transferring data. But Nikon still apparently living back in 2015 with this one, and including that micro USB cable. So that's not good to see right off the bat, but I guess, hey, if that's going to be what sways your purchase, maybe this camera isn't for you, I guess. Next up here we have, looks like a little lens hood. Now the purpose of a lens hood is really debatable depending on who you ask. I'd say it's mainly to look more professional, as well as kind of protect your lens from hitting stuff. But either way, it's nice that they include one. Feels pretty durable, not like it's going to snap off or anything. And, you got it right out of the bat, so you don't have to think about buying one later. And finally, in this box, we got your battery. Now, supposedly this battery is a new battery for this camera line, not necessarily a new battery for Nikon in general. It's the EN-EL20A, so if you have a camera that already uses that, potentially you have some of these lying around and already have spare batteries. Otherwise, it might be a good idea to pick them up. But you might also want to pick up another charger, because I'm pretty sure, if I'm right, yeah, this is a power adapter here rather than a wall battery charger. So what's bad about this, unfortunately, is that you can only plug it into your camera and charge the battery in the camera. So if you're going to pick up an extra battery, you want to find something that comes with an actual battery charger. Otherwise, you know, if say you're shooting your camera with one battery, the battery dies, and you want to charge up that battery while you keep shooting, you can't really do that because you need to charge the battery in the camera. They really should go with, you know, a USB battery charger that you can actually slot the battery in versus something that you have to leave the battery in the camera. But, you know, like I said, if it's going to be the USB-C and this that discourages you from the camera, guess you really weren't thinking about buying it anyways. All right, now that we got the accessories out of the way, let's actually take a look at the camera itself. First off, I'm just noticing right now it's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. I've used both the Panasonic FZ80 and the Canon SX70HS, kind of similar cameras, and this just makes those two cameras look like, you know, tiny little mice camera, because it's quite a beast. It's more like a DSLR in size, and that's good for some things, but, you know, potentially if you want to bring this camera into like a concert, that bigger size is actually going to be a disadvantage because it's more likely that they're going to stop you at the gate until you can't bring it in. Whereas if you have something like the SX70, Panasonic FZ80, or something that kind of has a smaller lens and cuts off about here, then, you know, you possibly could bring that in and get some cool shots at the concert. But definitely, yeah, feels a lot heftier, you know, a bit more premium, and possibly will help you get steadier shots with it. Otherwise, looking at the camera, first thing I noticed is, of course, the new hot shoe that they put on it. Now, this is nice, not only for, you know, putting a flash on there and taking photos, which really I don't know how many people are going to be using a flash with this camera, since it's, you know, mainly the big feature is that super long zoom, and a flash not going to be too helpful for that. But the big reason why this hot shoe is good is, of course, because of this mic input on the side. You can hook up, you know, say a Rode mic, pop it on top, and then you have a camera that's got, you know, pretty decent video quality with an actual good microphone on top, and that could be, you know, really intriguing for some people looking to get started on, you know, YouTube and other places like that. Otherwise, looking at this camera, the EVF is new. However, it is not actually a touchscreen, which is kind of a bit of a letdown. I'll pop the battery in here just so you can just see how it powers up, but, you know, that is really something that you see in the Panasonic FZ80, but for some reason Nikon hasn't done with this camera. So if I get the battery in there, I can turn it on, and it's going to tell me no card present, which seems to lock me out from doing anything really helpful with this camera. But yeah, you can kind of see that it's a nice screen. It's better than the previous generation, but the fact that they couldn't, you know, upgrade to a touchscreen, it's a bit of a letdown, especially in today's world where we're so used to just, oh, touch, stuff like that. But at least it folds out, and it does flip around for if you want to, you know, get shots of yourself like so, or whatever you really want to do. But otherwise, you know, I do think this camera feels pretty nice. I also like the inclusion of this little focus dial or wheel on the side. It's actually smarter than the traditional zoom rings or focus rings that they have on camera lenses, because with this, it's a lot smaller movement. You know, you can be holding the camera, just doing that and zooming in and out, as opposed to, you know, ratcheting your whole hand around the lens, which would disrupt your whole shot. So that's a really nice feature you don't get in other cameras from, you know, Panasonic or Canon. And so this potentially is another thing that makes this camera exciting. But is it worth $800? That's going to be the real deciding factor. I'll have a full review up on my channel eventually, so go check it out there. As for sample footage, you can also probably find it on my channel, or maybe it already popped up suggested video on the side, or maybe, I don't know, somewhere around the video frame where you can find it and click on it. If you have any questions about this camera, please leave them down below. I'll try to answer them if I get a second. And of course, subscribe to this channel. It's free, and it notifies you when I put out a video. I don't spam you, don't worry, and hopefully they're all helpful. Find me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, as always, have a nice day, everyone. Peace out. Bye.